Hey, good. All right.
All right. This episode of Lords of the Storm is brought to you by our sponsors over at Patreon, where you, yes you, can also support the show. Just head over to patreon.com/Lords of the Storm to become a patron today.
Heroes, gather tribute and earn my favor. What do you say? Are you ready to begin?
Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to Lords of the Storm, episode 170, Heroes of the Storm podcast. My name is Greg Gizmo Zord Parker, and I'm joined tonight, of course, by the Zord Lords themselves, Mr. Kevin Multizord Ellis and Ryan TBK Zord Reader. And on this week's episode, Yrel has entered the Nexus. I thought about another clever pun, but do you really need one 2 weeks in a row? I mean, come on. The echoes.
I see what you did there.
The echoes of Alterac has begun. One of those.
I
Alterac
think
can
it's
have
have
multiple
begun.
echoes.
No, because it's
Yeah,
plural
yeah,
echoes.
echo.
So the
There's
echoes
horns.
of Alterac have begun.
Horns echo in the mountains.
That's true. There we go.
Yeah.
And I think there might be some little tournament happening right now. That's not. I don't know if it's a big deal. So we probably won't talk about it at all.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Nah, no need.
No.
Yeah. No. Just kidding. Did you really think we were serious? Come on. Gosh. How are you two doing this evening at TBK Zord?
I am doing pretty good, actually. I just had a delicious dinner. It was a turkey broccoli braid. It was really, really yummy.
Broccoli braid.
Yeah, it's like you take those crescent rolls, you flatten them out.
Okay.
You get a mixture. It's like sour cream, cheese, peas, onions, turkey or chicken, and you mix that all together, and then you kind of braid it up. You cook it for 20, 25 minutes till it's golden brown. Pull it out, cut it into slices, and there's broccoli too, because
Nice.
it's called a broccoli.
I saw you tweet that out, but I thought it was like a pizza thing, like a calzone, and that's why I was jealous. I'm not jealous anymore. You can keep your turkey sandwich.
So it reminded me of that, what was that YouTube video? You got the beans, peas, tomatoes, potatoes. Damn, I don't know. Multi,
I got nothing.
how are you
You
doing?
remind me
Welcome
of
to
the
Heroes
beans
of the
and
Storm
cornbread
cooking
guy.
show.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should do that, except I can't cook.
Themed cooking show
Unless
for
you
each
want
hero.
a show about ramen noodles, which that I could do.
Heroes themed ramen noodles.
You could
Yeah.
do
I
that for.
can get behind that.
Yeah, there's a lot of them that have, there's a lot of the sprays and stuff that's like, you got Illidan sitting in the bowl of noodles.
Oh, that's
Chen.
Yeah. A lot of them.
Yeah.
Presumably, they're all eating top ramen.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
Well, what have you all been up to in games this week, Multi?
I've been getting my standard set of games in. Of course, we had the Nexomania finish up, so I was trying desperately Monday night with patron producer Ouroboros Sword to finish up the last couple games, and I got the glow in the dark Diablo skin, so can't complain there. But yeah, no, I now with all the new stuff out in Yrel and such, I've been trying to get in there as well as best I can. And then Hearthstone's got that Taverns of Time thing going on, so I've been doing that. But forget about this game or this week in gaming rather. This week in reading, that book by Christy Golden, Before the Storm, good stuff, man.
I haven't gotten it
It
yet.
is
Still
out.
just starting,
It
but
is out.
it's good.
I'm gonna get it on Audible to check it out for sure.
I hear it's read by the guy who plays Anduin, like the voice
Oh.
actor. So that'd be.
I've
reasonable.
heard it's a good read or a good listen as far as audible quality.
Yeah. So no spoilers, chat, but pretty
Yes.
amped about it.
Yes.
I'm trying to read as fast as I can so that I don't come across a spoiler in like one of the podcasts I listen to, or I don't know. I wouldn't think you guys would pull anything like that in CTR, but you just never know about some of these other jokers out there, right?
Yeah, for sure. No, yeah, we don't go into those spoilers or anything. We talked about the comic, the Three Sisters and stuff last week, and didn't go into any spoilers on that.
Yeah.
TBK,
That was pretty cool too.
what have you been playing this week?
Heroes, lots and lots of heroes. Unfortunately, I did not have the greatest Nexomania luck.
Me either.
I definitely opened probably 40 some chests, and I got a Karazim skin, one Karazim skin, and then I got the same Karazim skin, and then I did manage to get a Lunara and a Diablo.
Wait, same tint as well?
For the Karazim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So just one Karazim skin. I did get a Lunara and a Diablo, but I did not get a Pignata, I did not get Garrosh, and I did not get Sonya, and I did not get a Luchiwawa. And so I took what meager shards I had and was able to craft a Luchiwawa. And that was my pick of the other ones, but I just could not bring myself to spend $35
Yeah.
and
Neither
only
could
get
I.
half the pack that I needed, because Sonya was in one pack and Garrosh was in the other pack, and I needed both of them. So I was just like, I just can't do it.
Yeah, I'll admit this whole event, I kind of had some FOMO going on, if you're familiar with the term. And then at the end, I mow. So,
You know,
I missed out. So, I mean, I got a few things. At first, for a while there, I was worried that I was going to get absolutely no tints that I truly wanted. But with that Diablo, I got at least one that I think I'll consistently use. But yeah, neither mount for me. I don't have the shards.
well,
Thankfully, the skins coming up should
Oh yeah,
kind of
that'll
ease your pain.
very much so.
well, let me tell you about my next mania. I
No one
got
wants to hear about your Nexomania, Greg.
Next
look
in
at me,
Heroes
I'm Greg.
news, there was
From-
this
Got
post on
everything.
Reddit and Heroes Hearth that we did.
from crates. I got one of everything, two of some. I got two skin tints on some heroes, except for Sonya and a Luchiwawa, and I got enough shards I was able to purchase those. So my Nexomania was a success. Granted, since Nexomania started, I've played over 200 games, so I
That does help. Yeah.
ground the
And you
crap out
re-rolled
of
a
it.
ton,
You've been
right?
streaming or something.
Yeah. And I probably spent between 15 and 20k gold on rerolls. So yeah, it was a busy next mania for me, but I grounded out. But yeah, this last week alone, I have been streaming some Hero League stuff. I've gotten over 60 games in Hero League. Why
that's cool.
I decided to get back in Hero League, I don't know, because I've been really down on it for a long time. But I've been having a good time. Started out really rough.
Seems like you're doing well in there, yeah.
Yeah, it started out real rough. Like we were like 15, 16 games below 500, but we are now above 500. I found I got rid of Hanzo, except for one map, and I found Thrall and Phoenix to be my carries. I'm 10 and 3 on Phoenix and 7 or 8 and 0 on Thrall, which is really cool.
Nice.
Yeah, it's good to find. You got to find your carries. That's definitely something about Hero League, especially in the middle ranks. Like finding your carries is a big deal.
Yes.
But someone's got to tank and heal.
I know. Sadly, my roles are tanking and healing.
That's how I
and
usually end up
can't
doing.
really carry very well on support.
Lily can do pretty darn well, and Karazim when it comes to
I can see
carrying.
Karazim,
on
and I can
support.
kind of see Lily.
Karazim can actually get in there and act as a pseudo assassin, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and still pump out good healing. So
Yeah. So it's been a good couple weeks in gaming. But let's go ahead and hop on into the news we have this week. All right. First up, we have our second edition of our community art that we have started from our Patreon rewards rework and our first goal being met. So this time we decided to come up with a hero skin and hire a concept artist to kind of bring that to life. And TBK, you did some really cool things with this on top of the skin and stuff. So I'll go ahead and let you take it away here. And now realizing I should have gotten pictures of this to put on stream, but I'm going to do that while you're talking about it. Take it away.
Okay.
Sounds good.
So just for the patrons, first off, just thank you again. Like this is, it's so awesome that people want to support us, and it allows us to do really, really cool things like this, because we basically are just pumping some of this into just more Heroes content, which is really cool. This is we all kind of got together, and when we decided we wanted to do a Heroes concept, and we were just like, who's the hero we should do it for, and we all kind of landed on Ragnaros. And so from that, I kind of came up with this concept that's been rattling around in my head for a little while, because I'm a huge mecha skin guy. And so it was just like, what could be good? Mecha Ragnaros? And then I was like, maybe we could take it a little farther and do our own lore and everything for this. And so I talked to Noah Warner, who was the concept artist for this, and we'll have links for all the images, for his stuff and everything in the show notes. Patreon specifically, you will be getting high res versions of all the stuff, as well as some bonus concept art that we kind of did and churned during the creation of this. So that's kind of a little special bonus, and thank you for being for Patreons as well. But we kind of landed on this thing I call Mecha Forge. And what Mecha Forge is it's kind of it's a derivative of the Mecha universe. And in fact, Mecha Forge heroes are old, much older than their newer mecha children. Made of living metal, these entities hail from a distant Nexus world where the battle between the mech bots and the Forge Cons has raged for centuries. So, as you can see, it's not too hard to tell. It's a little bit of a riff on Transformers. Noah actually even did some MechBot and ForgeCon symbols for us, which would be like, you got your Autobots and Decepticons, they got the symbols on their chest or on their shoulder or something like that. These same type of things would be on these MechBots and ForgeCons. And so he did, oh my gosh, an absolutely amazing job making this MechaForge Ragnaros skin. There's several color variations. He actually did in-game renders of what it would look like as an actual hero inside the game. We've got ability sheets for all the ability looks. And Multi, I know you were mentioning the lava wave as being something
the lava
you really
wave
like.
is so cool. And in general, it's like lava that's also molten metal that's also electric. Like
Slag.
I love it. Yeah.
Slag, yeah. So there's little ability sheets for absolutely everything. I love his E that normally speeds people up, but in this version, you actually get jetpacks that push you along before everything kind of explodes in a little AoE around you. He did concept art for the molten core ability as well, and so you actually get to see what the molten core would look like. And I love how he did it, because during the channel in our version, Ragnaros actually holds his hand out, and then the liquid metal actually moves off of his body and into the fort or the keep or the ruin before exploding into this giant Ragnaros kept aloft by a huge like hover jet.
Yeah, the beam
insane.
there is actually super cool. How has Blizzard not hired this guy yet? First of all,
I don't know. Blizzard hire this guy, and then he can make this for us. That'd be pretty awesome. Oh, good. Greg's got it up on screen. But yeah, so for our audio listeners, definitely go check this out. Check the show notes, lordsofthestorm.libsyn.com. It's a pretty incredible piece. And then I actually went a little crazy one day. And as I was talking to Noah, I was just like, it'd be really cool? Lore. And so I actually wrote a little lore piece that we're going to, since this is a little bit of a shorter show, that we're going to read to you guys, because it's kind of sets the stage for this whole living metal Ragnaros thing. So I hope you enjoy. Be kind to my voice acting. It's not like, voice actor caliber, but we'll see what we can do. And I haven't practiced this at all.
Quick question. Sorry to throw this wrench in you, but can Giz and I do the voices of the characters?
Oh,
Yes.
not.
What?
No, he doesn't want to?
Oh, okay, fine.
I don't care.
All right.
Okay.
We should have talked about this ahead of time. Go ahead, TBK. Take the whole thing.
Maybe as a bonus for the patrons, we'll do like an actual audiobook of this with sound effects and all of us voice acting, and it'll be incredible. And all 40 some of you patrons will just get like an extra special treat. I'm not promising that.
No.
It would probably be horrible. Varian looked out over the ruins of the old city, middle hand slowly fingering the hilt of the large blade on his back. Our world is dying, isn't it? Varian turned to see Uther walking up to join him, his gold gleaming armor and glowing blue eyes still resonating with the light of the setting sun. A large metallic hammer with a glowing white interior that seemed to pulse and hum, liquid metal flecks dancing from hammer to hand, rested on his shoulder. Uther, glad to see that you survived, Varian said, noticing a break in his friend's side that didn't seem to be mending itself. Uther followed Varian's eyes down to his side, putting his hand near the wound. It's nothing, truly. Death's touch always takes longer to recover from. Varian's mouth melded into a grimace. So, death survives. What about Ragnaros? Uther scowled. That monster. Yes, he survived. He's recouping his strength after burying half the city in molten metal. So many are offline. Too many. Varian sighed as he stood from where he knelt. His joints were aching. This had gone on for far too long. Maybe, just maybe, this would be their chance while the monster was at his weakness. Are you up for one more fight, old friend? Uther's mouth melded into a smile. I will follow you, my king, into the inferno itself. You know that. Varian nodded. Come, it is time to end this. Varian and Uther moved quickly across the blackened ground, their feet seamlessly morphing to account for the broken buildings and strewn rubble on the ground before them. Just up there, Uther said, pointing to a large hollowed-out dome-like structure a few hundred feet ahead. Be on your guard, Varian said, glowing blue eyes narrowing as he slowed. He may be weakened, but I'm sure he will anticipate attack. Varian and Uther cautiously entered the large structure, their eyes dimming as they quickly moved around the corner. Uther quietly pointed, drawing Varian's eyes to the far edge of the room. There sat the massive Ragnaros, a slow whirlpool churn of molten metal holding his armored torso aloft. His eyes were closed, but heat shimmers radiated out from his form. I was wondering when you would arrive, a metallic voice rasped from behind them. Varian and Uther spun just in time to narrowly avoid a curved laser scythe as it sheared through a chunk of debris just beside them. There before them hovered a black metallic figure, hooded, with glowing red eyes. Wisps of living metal formed the cloak that hung around him, slowly shifting and undulating back and forth. He held a curved laser scythe in each hand, the red glow lightly framing his form. What would you ask of death? The creature struck like a viper, liquid metal body flowing from one stance to the next as the scythe blades whipped back and forth in their deadly dance. It was all Varian could do to defend, raising his arm, a shield formed from the liquid metal of his own body, turning the first blow from the laser scythe just in time. The large sword on his back was in his hand in the blink of an eye. melding into his back, then reforming in his hand as he met the second scythe blow. With a yell, Varian pushed back, slamming his shield arm towards Death while sweeping his sword to the side, the laser-edged blade cutting a gash in the front of the black form. Death recoiled, his body shifting and writhing. Lifting his hands, he pulled as small chunks of metal flew from the surrounding wreckage, melding with his body and filling in the gash. He straightened again, his black hooded head slowly raising, red glowing eyes filled with hate. Smash! A glowing white hammer crashed into the side of Death's body, throwing him back up against the wall. Go! Uther yelled. Deal with the monster. The light will reckon with Death. Uther turned, his hammer head glowing brightly again as he threw it forward, smashing directly into Death's chest with a small explosion. The hammer dropped to the ground and seemed to melt, the liquid metal rushing back toward Uther's outstretched hand, reforming into a hammer on contact. Varian turned and began rushing towards the still seemingly inactive Ragnaros. As he approached, the monster's eyes shot open, bright yellowish-white eyes like the inside of the forge itself. Varian kept running, his feet forming jets, pushing him off in a large, fast, arcing charge toward the infernal monster. Ragnaros lifted his hand, bringing it down in a large sweep in front of him. Varian barely had time to put up his arm shield as Ragnaros' hand morphed into a large hammerhead, smashing into his side. Varian's shield shattered as the impact threw him onto the ground. Liquid metal poured from the wound in his arm as he tried to focus enough to stop the retraction. Insect! Varian roared as he raised his hammer hand a second time to crush the fallen Varian. Not this time! Varian yelled, his back sliding open as a large metal rod with a rectangular anvil encrusted on top shot out, planting itself into the ground next to him. As Ragnaros' hammer made to make impact, a large blue translucent dome sprung to life, surrounding the metal banner and rippling with the impact of the blow. Ragnaros' eyes widened as the barrier seemed to absorb the entire impact of his attack. Varian took the moment of surprise to strike. Leaping up, jets once again forming under his feet, pushing him forward in a charge. He let out a yell as he took his sword in both hands and pulled it apart, liquid metal blades seamlessly splitting into two as blue laser edges ignited. This is for my colony, Varian yelled, bringing both blades down toward the large form of Ragnaros. This will be your end, Ragnaros sneered, liquid metal swirling as he engaged the king. Blades clashing, hammers ringing, echoes of war unceasing. This is the story of the Mecha Forge.
Ooh.
You told that whole story just so you could end it with him turning up to be Twin Blades variant, didn't you?
Well, you know.
Yeah.
You have a very soothing voice, reading voice. You could do some
Indeed.
audiobooks. I will say.
I used to do some Audible stuff for friends who wrote books.
Really?
Nice.
That's cool.
I was really hoping there would be a Varian. You should drink from that fountain.
If we had done the voices, Greg, you could have done that. You could have just done it.
It's true.
That's
You could have
all right,
thrown in
though.
whatever you wanted.
Dang it. But yes, well done. And again, guys, check out the skins. It's pretty incredible stuff that was able to go along with that. And who knows, maybe we'll get some more stuff as far as lore from Blizzard with the why can't I think of their mecha stuff? What are the names?
Just the Mecha Storm.
Mecha
The
Storm
Xenomorph?
and Xenomorph.
Xenotech.
Xenotech, yeah.
Xenotech.
Yeah, this kind of has a
Xenomorph is-
Xenotech feel to it.
Yeah, Xenotech is a little copyrighted somewhere else.
I like
Or
it.
Xenomorph is a little
Xeno-
copyrighted somewhere else.
Is that Animorphs?
No, that's like Alien, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Like Xenomorphs, the black thing with the multi mouths
Yep,
and likes
aliens.
to come out of your chest.
Yep. They do.
No, Animorphs is serious stuff.
They do like to do that.
Gizmo. It's serious. I will say this though, from a lore perspective, I wouldn't mind it if Heroes came out with a piece like this for some of their content. Just a fairly quick read. I know we've gotten some comics and stuff, but this is another avenue they could explore.
Yeah, just text. Little
Yeah.
little
Yeah.
books
A
there.
blog post that has some text and some
like
flavorful
a
story to it.
chapter of a book or something like that.
Or yeah, I mean, or a full book, but
Or a full
Yeah.
book, why not? Christy Golden's not doing anything now. Her book
That's
just
right.
came out.
we've established this on Twitter with her. She is up to nothing now.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get on into some of the other stuff here. Currently going on for this kind of Echo of Alterac event that's happening, we have an experience boost event coming on that started on the 12th and will be going through July 9th. However, you know what? Battles are not, they're rarely won alone or lost alone. So to get this 50% bonus, you need to have at least one other person. So it's kind of just adding on to the party bonus that we have along with the stim packs if you have those. And it will work in verse AI, quick match, unranked heroes. We're all in Team League. So everything except for Hero League because that's solo queue.
Right. Yeah, you already get the boost just for teaming up with people, but you get even more so stacked onto it now. So, honestly, I saw this and my first thought was, I'm not playing a game without at least someone. So if you've seen me, I hop in our channel. I sometimes poach from other channels. And just looking for people to play with this is going on because this is cool.
It's too bad
We're all going to get super social this week.
That's right.
Could have been more chess. Maybe you would have gotten more skins if it was during Nexomania.
Oh, frick.
So again, hop in, grab some people, check that out. Also, we have here, Blizzard is going to up the ante on repeat chat offenders. So they're stepping up the abusive chat penalties. They're going to be rolling them out in the next few days. Specifically, they're changing the ways to penalize the repeat offenders by increasing severity of the actions taken against their accounts. And this is good that this is coming out because this is one of the things we haven't really known much about the report system, what the actions are. So it says in the current system, players who are regularly reported for abusive chat incur a silence penalty, which of course restricts them from chatting in-game and prevents them from playing Hero League for the penalty's duration. Subsequent offenses result in increasingly longer silence penalty durations, and then in some cases, silence penalties alone are not enough for repeat offenders to see the error in their ways and correct their behavior. So they are going to add in some new stuff. They're going to greatly reduce the number of silence penalties they apply to repeat offender accounts. Instead, a player who returns to abusive behavior after the initial silence expire will begin incurring account suspensions. These suspensions will quickly ramp up in duration and prevent them from playing Heroes of the Storm entirely. Players who prove they are incapable of or unwilling to improve their behavior after being warned, silenced, and suspended enough times will be permanently banned from the game. Permanently banned.
Dang.
That is a big ramp up from the old system. They are aware some players are concerned they may be penalized after being falsely reported for abusive chat or abusive voice. It's not the case. They're going to handle false reports. This is how they're going to handle the false reports. Abusive chat or spam reports are ignored if they are issued against a player who hasn't participated in in-game chat or public chat channels. Abusive voice reports are ignored if they are issued against a player who hasn't participated in voice chat. And abusive chat and abusive voice reports issued by players on an enemy team are also ignored.
Makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
Since they
They
can't
can't hear
see your
them.
chat.
Yeah.
That is funny.
So this is good.
Makes a lot of sense.
It does.
I like
does.
it.
You know what I mean? I cannot imagine the place someone has to be in where they cannot improve if they get enough warnings. Like I could get being resistant and refusing to improve, but with the verbiage there where it's like if someone is unable to improve, it's like really do you hit the F key and then you just have to finish it with the rest of the letters? Is that just how it works?
Yeah.
But anyway, no, I'm okay with this.
It's good because playing a lot of Hero League these past few weeks, there are some turds in there, and surprisingly, you will get those same people in multiple games in a row if you're queuing up a lot. So
You're gonna get silenced using language like that, Gizmo.
turd?
Turd.
No, I just say, hey,
Yeah.
you, stop being a turd, and then they go,
yeah,
okay,
fair point.
sorry, that's my bad. I don't want to be.
You know what though? It's never been as bad as Overwatch.
That
Not
is
even
true.
close.
That's
And it never will be.
Agreed.
what are you talking about? Overwatch is such a happy place. So, but yeah, that's a good update there, and I think we're still kind of waiting on the whole feedback thing from report systems to help us feel like our reports are making an impact. They've been testing that stuff, but we haven't heard much on that, so hopefully soon. Urel has officially entered the Nexus with the latest patch on Tuesday, which of course we talked about her last week after the announcement with the Echoes of Alterac. Is it Echo of Alterac or Echoes of Alterac? It's right behind me. My chair's just blocking it. Echoes.
Yes,
It's Echoes.
It
Cool.
goes.
I think it's Echoes, yeah.
So the Echoes of Alterac event, which has started, you got your character selection screen. Looks really sweet, kind of in the Alterac Mountains there. But so far, she is the only part of that to enter the game, along with a really cool WoW character bundle that you can get. I don't know if you guys saw that. It's 30. I think 30. It's all the Warcraft heroes that are in the game. I don't remember how many gems it is, but if you're missing a lot of those, check it out. Maybe you can get some.
Yeah. Also, an incredibly cool Horde Alliance selection screen for the quest that is very reminiscent of Warcraft 3.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Like the
I thought
chains
that.
things that drop down, and then you got the very old school BattleNet looking like Warcraft 3 selection screen type thing.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. I will say this though. So last week when we kind of previewed it, it didn't really bother me so much. But now that it's happened, I'm super weirded out by the fact that the event started before the map actually came out. Super weirded out. Like I don't know. We've got this little week until the week of June 19th when it actually enters quick match unranked versus AI and custom games. And in that interim, I mean, just seeing like the loading screen and getting in there and playing URL and just not being able to do the whole thing, I'm just a little weirded out. I don't know if you guys feel the same way or.
It's a little odd. Like
I'm
not quite sure what would cause the map to not be able to be released at the same time.
Like I would rather legitimately have done another week of PTR and have the whole thing launched together next week than this weird staggered thing.
I think it just has to do with their content release schedule. That they've been trying to follow, because they've talked about it whenever they first switched over.
Sure.
Not wanting to do heroes and maps at the same time. Smaller content drops, and plus it had been a long time for Heroes of the Storm before we had a hero, so they wanted to get that out there to us.
Sure.
And it's only a week. I mean, Alterac Pass is coming at least for all modes except for ranked. So non-ranked modes, it will be here the week of June 19th.
I do like that a lot.
Yeah, that I agree with completely.
I hope they do this in subsequent map releases and hold it back until the next ranked season starts from ranked mode.
Well, yeah, that makes sense, because it's only do the maps don't change throughout a season, do they? The rank selection, the pool. Does it change throughout a season?
I seem to think so.
I thought they had rotations during the seasons.
Yeah, like mid-season rotations.
They have some before. They've been experimenting with it a lot the last few seasons. So I don't know if they're going to be for sure locking down this set of maps is going to go this entire season.
Yeah. And
they were rotating them for a while.
They may not have initially planned this, because remember, this season has been extended.
That's true too.
I believe it was actually supposed to end the same time Alterac Pass is coming out, or else today. I just remember it was being kind of the early mid-June, but now it's extended to the week of July 11th or 12th, something like that. So it's nice that is happening, at least, so we can get used to it in the non-ranked modes. But who knows if that was the initial plan.
Yeah, that could have thrown it off.
That's a good question.
I definitely get like the fact that they possibly even have to release URL with the patch with everything else, just for the sake of putting her in the patch with all the other content. I don't know all the technical back end side of that kind of thing, but it makes sense to me. So I mean, I get that, but I don't know. I'm just still weirded out by the gap.
Yeah. Fair enough. Fair enough. But yes, make sure. And for those worried that you might accidentally pick the wrong side on this quest, like Multi was, don't worry. You have to click 3 times.
Yes,
Just to make sure, to
you
confirm.
will not mess it up.
So-
or if you do, you have tried.
Yeah. So when you accidentally click over on that Horde side, don't worry. You can come back.
You have 2 choices. You have the Horde and the incorrect choice. Those are your 2.
Yeah. You do
Question.
realize that this is a Horde-dominated podcast.
The Ram
2 out of 3 ain't bad.
looks so much better than the Wolf. However, the Horde banner looks so much better than the Alliance banner. I'll give you that.
And it will look better when it's hung over every Alliance city at the end of BFA.
Yep.
Just saying that right now.
Guys.
Question. Okay, so the skins are out though, right?
No, skins are not out.
Or
Skins.
is this waiting for the Alterac
all the
pass as well?
skins drop next week, and all the new skin bundles and such will drop next week. And let me double check if I'm not wrong. I believe it doesn't actually say in the patch notes, but going off of what they talked about before, it's possible that each skin will have its own gem bundle
Yeah, with the different tints inside.
with the different tints.
They did talk about that before, so
We haven't
We'll
even
see.
seen the different tints of these skins.
No,
no, that's
So
true. There could be
those-
some cool ones,
Yeah. So I'm excited to see
I mean all
them.
the regular ones are amazing.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
Oh, if there's like a dark spirit healer, oh, okay, that's the one ally skin I'll get right there.
It does. There is a vengeful spirit healer.
Ooh,
Nice. But yes, Urel is in the live server now. Have either of you picked her up?
yes,
Since she hit
yes,
live?
for sure.
Yep.
All right. How is she feeling? Because she did get the slightest of buffs here to her Vindication, which is her Q. The charge up is now going to increase the damage from 125 to 140. So to hopefully help out a little bit there. Does it? Because I know we all played a lot of her in the PTR. Is this noticeable at all?
I don't really notice that one, but now as I get used to her a little bit more, I'm kind of getting what they're trying to do with her, and there's stuff I like about her. I still have a lot of my concerns from last week.
How about you?
I think.
Well, they also increased her basic attack damage from 140 to 155.
Which
So-
is pretty big, actually.
It's a little something. I mean, and it kind of needed to be. When you have a 2-handed Ret Pally, like, come on, you need it. Right now, and I just want to throw this out here to kind of be out there before we talk about her anymore. Remember, it's day 2.
Mhm.
She's sitting at a nice, comfortable 39.1% win rate on Hot Slogs right now. And that is actually the very bottom of the pack. She's actually 2% under Tassadar at 41.6.
I'm not
Wow.
sure.
So,
Uh,
yes, part of this is learning curve. I think
is
she
it?
has an incredibly complicated, complex usage kit just because of the charge ups and being able to get interrupted and when to use your trait to get the fully charged automatic thing. And there's a ton of different stuff to consider. But as I've played her just these last 2 days, she has a lot of counters. There's a lot of stuns in this game. There really is. There's a lot of interrupts in this game. And so she can get countered pretty hard in a lot of ways. Because if you jump in to engage, because she's technically supposed to be a main tank. From the spotlight, they say main tank or off tank bruiser. They actually say that in the spotlight. If you jump in as a main tank and your W or your Q gets interrupted, you are in serious trouble.
Oh yeah.
You're in serious trouble because most of her talents, a lot of her support talents will proc off of her using her basic abilities. So like level 1, you can get 35 physical armor for using a basic ability. or you can get like extra cooldown reduction or extra healing or whatever from using basic abilities. There's a lot of stuff that relies on using basic abilities. So if you get interrupted out of that, you can lose a ton of value. She doesn't have amazing wave clear until like level 16, which is pretty huge, especially for someone who's technically supposed to be an off-tank bruiser who which you usually send to the solo lane.
I found that you can get some wave clear going. Like it's still not great, not nearly as great as a wave clear bruiser like Sonya would do, obviously. You can, but you have to really be churning through your abilities on the waves. And if you do that, and in general, like if you're taking a lot of these talents that benefit from you using regular abilities, you are burning through mana. It doesn't seem like it at first. You kind of get there and you're looking down and you're like, okay, I'm at 3/4, fine. But then really just a couple minutes later and you're like, I got to drink or go back or something. So I think part of it could be mana related with her as well. She's got almost that Tyrael feel of, I do some cool abilities, I have some good movement, I have some good ways to protect myself and teammates, but I'm so I am an auto attack bot. But hey, they buffed the auto attack, so
they did. I think my biggest problem has been just feeling like I can't be threatening enough to peel for my team. And that was very evident in the game I played just before this, when basically everyone would just walk past me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And just ignore me. And there's not a whole lot I can really do to get in their faces, and I just don't do that much damage. Like, she does not do that much damage. And so it was extremely hard for me to, at least for this particular situation, it felt extremely hard for me to peel from my team or to try to be getting in people's faces to draw fire and whatnot, when they just kind of would walk around me and ignore me some. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I think she'll probably see some more buffs, and I agree that the win rate will probably go up some when people figure her out, and they're gonna have to walk a fine line, because apparently, according to some interviews, beforehand she was an absolute monster in their internal play tests.
Wonder what was different about her then, and what
I don't know.
There's something between that and what we have that they could land on.
Apparently, they hit her pretty hard before, because it was scary. And honestly, I would rather heroes come out underpowered than overpowered.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's true too.
Because then you're not wasting a ban for Hero League. Then you don't have this crazy strong like Phoenix situation in quick match where they're just dominating everything. So I'd almost rather than come out a little underpowered and then them buff them up a little bit to get them balanced. But it definitely, I love the feel. I think she has a lot of potential, but I think she needs either some numbers tweaks, potentially. I wouldn't mind seeing some bonus damage to minions on a fully charged Q either to help with that wave clear a little bit as well.
So,
you know what I think would be kind of cool is a talent that changes the way that the Righteous Hammer works, where it no longer gives the knockback, but gives a slightly longer just stand-in-place stun. I think there could be some interesting play there. Just kind of a thought I had as I was playing earlier today. But Gizmo, what were you about to say?
So I have not picked her up yet since she went live, but I played her a lot in PTR. I've been talking to several people since her release, and I've been trying to think of ways to possibly help with some of the situations. First, I feel like they kind of classify her as the off bruiser. Her wave clear isn't great, but she'll be great like Dragonshire, for instance. Top lane, she's going to be very difficult to
as
push
a
out
duelist.
of lane there. Yeah. Just because her survivability. But one of the ideas I had was possibly, what if you take away all the telegraphs that she's channeling certain abilities? What if it was the same, so they don't know what ability you're casting?
Ooh, that's
so they have
interesting.
to, choose to interrupt when they don't know what you're doing, so you can do some fake outs. But that
She just takes like one stance,
Yeah.
and they just don't know what it is.
Until
that's
maybe
cool.
it's, well, actually, I just changed it now because that would take a lot of flavor away because a lot of her animations and stuff are really cool. But they could do something, the same animation during the charge up, and then once it's fully charged, it does, has the final animation stuff type, like that. I don't know if that type of thing could help. As far as, people just walking past her right now, I had thoughts of Vindication. Maybe when you're charging Vindication, that circle area that's around you, maybe that slows by, I don't know what amount, but at least to make it harder for people to just walk past you to get to your team, to buy some time. But her
She needs
just,
a little something.
yeah, her kit's
Yeah,
just,
She needs a
it's
little
super
something.
cool and it's super interesting. It's just it's so different and interesting that it has its own issues. So I'm super glad that they came out with a hero like this, but we'll just have to kind of see what they do. Or again, maybe it's just a learning curve. Maybe she will find her place here. Who knows?
Some of it's learning curve, but I mean, we've seen heroes that come out with like a 46-ish win rate that are a little underpowered still, and with learning curve probably gets closer to 50. And obviously, the people who play them consistently would get an even higher win rate themselves personally. But for it to come out at such a low number, yeah, they're going to
It
do
is
something.
pretty low
Yeah,
for sure.
I can't remember the last time I've even heard of a hero being in the 30s, under 40. So
You know what it does, though? You know what it does is it silences those people who, every time an OP one like Phoenix comes out, the ones who are like, Blizzard's just releasing them really strong so that people will buy them, and then they nerf them down. No. Ha!
yeah,
in your face.
That argument always that grinds my gears because
Every time
Yep.
it does.
Yep.
It has for years.
yeah, they
And
don't,
if you actually go back and look through the data, there's no real hard data that actually shows that.
There's
a very wide variety of balanced, underpowered, and overpowered hero releases.
yeah,
Right.
agreed. But yeah, we'll continue to keep an eye on that, and do hero of the week here. We may, I don't know. Should we hold off on her maybe a few weeks in case she gets some stuff, or we'll see. We might do it
Don't
next
know.
week.
We'll have to kind of keep an eye.
We'll keep testing.
Didn't we
On
hold
her.
off on Deckard for an extra week? Or am I mistaken? So there's one that we did. and
There's
it worked
one we
out.
held
think there
off
was an
for.
event.
There
or
is a
something.
slower hero release schedule now, so it's not as implausible.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we also have a question kind of along the lines with URL, like exactly along the lines with URL here. So we'll go ahead and hop to that from Cannibal Bob. Good old
Yes,
Cannibal,
Cannibal
Bob.
Bob wrote in. What is your guys' first impressions of Urel? Do you think she will make it to HGC? Personally, I think she is way too weak for a warrior to be used in any sort of comp. Her kit feels really weak. She does little to no damage and has moderate CC if your trade is up, and you don't have to spend time on charging her W. Curious of you guys' thoughts. Love the show. Can't wait to hear what y'all think. So yeah, we've covered some of this for sure. You're definitely more blunt than we are, which is good. I like that. I like your style. And yeah, I don't know. Like when it comes to the HGC, and I know TBK, you've been watching people's Twitters and such. I've seen a couple people, some pros, tweet out that they aren't too satisfied with her. That they kind of agree with some of the points we were making last week, where she's a tank, but she doesn't do some things as well as other tanks do. And there's no like, other than I guess the activating the trait and getting a quick W off for the AoE knockback stun, which is good, that she just doesn't stand out in so many ways. So and yeah, there's people that love her. There's people that really have been taking her up and trying her. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, I heard Kyle Ferguson was into her and such as well too. But what do you guys think? Any shot for her in HGC specifically?
I think it was Fury is the one I saw who said he at her current state doesn't think she has a spot in the HGC. I think it was him. I'm not sure though.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, so
I think I saw that one too.
who knows? There's several weeks before she will be playable in the HGC. So maybe they'll
And
figure something out.
probably a balanced patch
Yes.
before then as well. I would agree. I don't think in her current state she'll have any place in HGC.
Yeah.
There's
But it
just
could
too
change
many.
between now and
There's
then.
just too many other that are going to be better.
Yep.
But-
Tyrael fills her role and possibly Zarya to some extent.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, I could kind of see that.
it's some interesting stuff.
Tyrael especially, though.
Yeah. Okay. Well, speaking of the HGC, it's finally here. It's been going on. It has been a crazy week. It has been a tired Gizmo week. But it's been a blast. Mid-season brawl's here, so let's go ahead and hop into the HGC. All right, TBK, what do we got going on?
So we actually talked about this last week, and they did it. HGC Cheer is back, and it launched the day before, the night before the mid-season brawl started. It soft launched. There was actually some people who were just like, I just bought a bunch of like HGC stuff, and I was like, what? I didn't see an announcement, but lo and behold, I went to the Blizz Heroes Twitch page, and there it was. And so they announced it the next day, after a successful 2017, Twitch and the Heroes Global Championship are firing up the HGC program for 2018 just in time for mid-season brawl. Literally just in time for mid-season brawl.
Could not be more in time, which is also still weird, but hey, you know, all good.
They got it. They got it, though.
They did get it.
Of course, this gives HGC fans the opportunity to support their favorite teams while simultaneously unlocking new loot to use on Twitch and Heroes of the Storm. So you can, like last year, you can go buy bits, and then you can cheer bits for your team, and each team has a progression of up to 1,500 bits where you can get Twitch emotes, and then an in-game spray, and an in-game banner, and an in-game portrait that you can use for that team specifically. A portion of the revenue Twitch receives from those bits goes to the HGC team receiving the cheers, and then a portion goes to Blizzard. And then total cheers can actually unlock like big rewards. So you have team progress, like I just mentioned. You have your current progress, so you actually have a separate from your team progress bar that will unlock generic HGC stuff or chests or that type of thing. And then there's a global progress where if you at minimum have gotten 100 bits cheered, then you will get the global event stuff. And so right now, let me pull this up. So right now, we've actually cheered 6,737,098 bits.
Dang.
Which is pretty impressive. We already unlocked the global Thunder Lizard.
The Deadly
mount.
Chaos Lizard, which was the big one that we didn't quite reach last year.
Yep. So that was the first one for this year. And then at 7,500,000 bits, we will unlock the global HGC Mid-Season Brawl Winners mount. So I assume that means the return of the Nexagon for the Mid-Season Brawl winner, which would be kind of cool.
That is cool. And I think that'll happen. I mean, you know, the mid-season brawl is going on, and then this upcoming weekend is going to be where the real hype is, of course, as it finishes up. So, I mean, yeah, it's a good time to jump on.
For sure. And then your progress can go super high to like 50,000 bits, where you get this like legendary portrait or banner or some ridiculousness.
It's an expensive banner.
Too rich for my blood. But hey, if you've got the disposable income for it, then it's pretty cool, and you can sport a legendary banner. And then, of course, like I said, all team rewards, there's six chunks, 3 Twitch emotes, and 3 in-game items. Do remember that you actually don't claim them in-game, and you don't get them automatically. You have to click, at least last I saw, you had to click the claim button on Twitch. And you had to do that last year, too.
Yeah.
To actually get the in-game items. So right now, Heroes Hearth is actually in #1 cheers with over 1 million bits.
Yeah.
Rightfully so. Because that banner looks dope.
Yeah. That's really, really awesome. Good for them. Followed by Tempo Storm at 893, Dignitas with 851, Fnatic with 605, and then Ballistics at number 5 with 423.
Do you
And
think
then-
some of it is, not to cut you off, do you think
Okay,
some
go
of it is because the video that explains HGC Cheer uses Heroes Hearth as an example? So there's some people that are just like, oh, this is the one I click on.
I don't think people
I
are
know,
buying
I
bits
know.
to spend that don't know
I'm joking. It's cool.
teams.
Heroes Hearth is a hype team.
They are a hype team, and
Yeah, call 'em Heroes
it's
hype.
they did really well. So, and I mean, these totals will go up a lot throughout phase 2, when the actual all the teams will be playing. We usually like last year specifically, we saw a lot of bits cheered during the individual weekly games for these teams. So, but it's a great start. Like almost. We're less than 1 million bits away from the mid-season brawl winner mount already, that global goal. So
Yeah.
remember, you just need to share 100 bits to get that one.
Which is how much in US dollars? Roughly?
$2.
So
It's about double. So 100 bits is $1. You pay about double for that.
so
But I
$1.40
believe
for 100 bits.
I believe there may still be a deal going on right now that's like $4.99 for 500 bits.
You
For
do
like
know
a first-time
that if
purchase
you
type
get-
thing.
25,000 bits, you'll get a 12% discount.
Yeah.
Oh, not bad.
Only $308. So
That's it.
it's a lot of HGC loot, guys.
I'll ask my wife if that's okay. Spoiler alert.
It's not.
But yes.
Uh,
Oh, I'm thinking about that. Oh, never mind.
And don't forget, you can watch ads to earn free bits as well.
yes, you can.
Which there is a lot of time to be watching ads. You can either watch ads and not get any bits between games, or you can watch ads and get bits between games. So,
I've been looking for a side job, and I think this is it. This is it for me.
bit farming.
Ad watching.
You just got to
Okay.
set up 2 Twitch accounts. Actually, set up multiples, and you can watch those. And then you have one Twitch account that's the bank, and you just you got to get affiliate first, and then
And I
you
have
just
to actually watch
ads.
them, right? So I need
Yes.
like 5 monitors.
and then you deposit them into your, your bank account.
Yeah.
There you
Okay,
go.
sounds good.
he's got it all worked out,
Mhm.
folks.
I haven't been doing that.
So moving on to the mid-season brawl itself, this has been going on since Friday,
Mhm.
up through today, and so there's been a ton of games. And remember, this is like a big round robin where pretty much every team plays every team in groups of 6. So there's Group A and a Group B, and so just beforehand, before we start this, there will be spoilers. So skip ahead a few minutes if you don't want this spoiled for you and you're still watching VODs and whatnot. Okay. So we had a lot of interesting stuff happen. There has been some actually incredible games
Oh,
that
yeah.
have been played. I've been trying to catch as many as possible. I'm going to try and do a better job at catching most all of them this coming weekend, of course, because this will be the actual winners bracket as such. But just going through the standings of Group A, Gen G, probably the number 1 Korean team right now, besides maybe Tempest, went 10-0 and won their group, ending their placement in the upper bracket, where Tempo Storm, go NA, actually ended 7-4 and was able to take the second upper bracket spot
That's
for Group
crazy.
That's right.
So proud of them.
So
They
cool.
had an amazing run. They had a
And
really
some
amazing run.
Really good games.
Yes.
I went into some of the sets with them thinking, it's against ballistics. It might turn out okay. It turned out okay.
Yeah. Definitely go back and watch, especially some of these Korean NA games, the Korean EU games. There's some extremely close matches. There was a Heroes Hearth one that went, 30 some minutes, and it was just absolutely insane, absolutely back and forth. There was a Dignitas one where they were playing Tempest that Dignitas was creaming them. It was Battlefield of Eternity, 2 keeps down, and Tempest came back and took it from them. Just absolutely
cool.
insane, the team fighting and the mechanical skill of some of these teams. And I posted this on Twitter. This whole tournament so far has just really proven to me how high a skill ceiling Heroes actually has. This is not a casual game. This is the amount of skill you can take this game to, and it's been rising each year, but we've seen some truly ludicrous play out of some of these teams that you can only get from a 5-man that is practicing together. And it's just as skillful as, I would say, just about any other esport out there.
Oh, easy.
Yeah.
Especially, I get that feeling too, especially when you see a really, really top tier team just demolish another team that's still super high up in the standings. You know what I mean? Like when you see a 2-0 at that level, then you got to think. I mean, there's just even at the top of this tournament, I think there's some gaps in skill between the teams as well. I mean, we'll see how it all shakes out this weekend for sure. And yeah, I'm with you. I'm going to be catching all of it this coming weekend here because it's
for sure
wrapping up. But
as much as I can.
Yeah, exactly.
My biggest thing about this last almost week that this has been going on, and I was really only able to catch Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I haven't been able to watch past 2 days. This is the tournament we have been waiting for since the first, Heroes Esports has been happening. All 3 of the major regions are taking games off of each other.
Yes,
which is true. Unbelievable. Like, I think I'm not sure. I don't even know how to word this. I always wanted this to happen, but I think in the back of my mind, Korea's been so dominant and we've really struggled against Europe. Like, part of me was like, North America's, we might not ever get there. And we are there. And it's so cool.
Yeah, legitimately there.
Yeah. And not only the HGC, but how effective the open division has been. Granted, Heroes Hearth has a lot of players on it that were already previously in the HGC. But for a team and players to come from the open division and in their first year, not only make it to the mid-season brawl, but take games off of the other 2 regions has been incredible. And
they made it out
so
of groups.
Excited. Yeah.
I mean, they made the cut. They're still in this weekend. So, I mean, we'll see what they do, but that's impressive by itself.
Yeah, and I mean, let's finish going through the standings. I mean, so we got our upper bracket for Group A, and then Ballistics took the first lower bracket slot in Group A, going 6-5. Probably the weakest Korean team, which is
from their org, so crazy.
Still a strong team. And then Fnatic ended up clinching the other spot in the lower bracket from Group A, going 5-5. And remember, this is a really weird situation for Fnatic because they are playing with all their Phase 1 players, but 1 or 2 of their Phase 1 players have been traded or gone to other teams.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And so that's got to be a little weird.
Oh yeah,
as well.
Quack. Wait, was it
Quack specifically?
Yeah.
Well, wait, who's the captain of their team right now? Whoever they had the interview with even said as much as about things have been really weird, and it hasn't necessarily been a happy and joyful situation to be around, but that they've been trying to push through it for the tournament. So
yeah, they've said they're kind of tired as well when they're playing some, and I mean, there's explanations for it.
Sure.
But again, I mean, they made the cut too, so
they did.
We'll see more of them.
They made it through. Mind Freak, the ANZ team, and the one from China were eliminated in Group A. On Group B side, Tempest went 9-1 to take the first seed upper slot for Group B. Team Dignitas went 7-3 with some very, very strong showings to take the second upper spot in Group B. And then Method was 6-4. And then Heroes Hearth with 5-5, both managed to clinch the lower brackets of Group B. Huge win for both Method and Heroes Hearth, honestly. Very, very good job by both those teams. And CE, the Chinese team, and Luna Miao, which I believe is the Southeast Asia team, were both eliminated. So this is the first time, or at least one of the first times, where there's no China in the finals.
Right. But
which is pretty crazy.
That is pretty crazy. I will say this too. I had almost forgotten how much I loved the best of two format. I really do, because I mean, you can get through more series in a day. I feel like often it's telling by itself. I mean, when you go through the list, there are a lot of 2-0s, but the one-on-ones that happen are super telling as well and impact the score that you end up with at the end of the day and everything too. So I mean, I like it. I think that it makes like if I'm going in there just to watch one individual set, it's super digestible. And I mean, I was like you, Gizmo. I crushed out the weekend, but then as soon as the week hit, I was like, I only have so much time. So I started watching like Heroes Hearth and such, and it's just easy to pick up a VOD and go if you're doing that kind of thing.
Yeah, not only is it more digestible and you can get more games in, I personally like it and wouldn't mind them doing this for the regular phases.
Agreed.
Because I think it can help build a more interesting storyline. And rivalries and stuff throughout the phases, because you'll have more often ties, where you're not settling it that week, so you have questions going into the next week and the next time that these teams come together to play, and it really builds those storylines. But
with the scores, the story could get super interesting, because it could be like, Tempo Storm is getting matched up against Heroes Hearth this week, but if they go 1-1, then Team Freedom has a chance in. I mean, it could build a really interesting story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think this is my favorite tournament bracket format by far.
Yep.
Yes, it takes a lot more time than some of the other brackets, but I feel like this gives us one of the best overall. And for the teams, it's really, really great for the teams, because it lets all the teams play each other, which for minor regions especially is a big, big deal. Because this is some of the biggest competition they'll get throughout the year, and that will challenge them the most. So the more time they have to scrim, the more time they have to play these top teams is a good thing.
And that's a good point too. I mean, the teams are playing fewer games per set as well. I mean, you can only do 2, even if it's a 1-on-1 situation.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that has its disadvantages, because then I mean, there could be a team that would learn from game 2 and come back and win game 3 if it was best of 3. But it's got to have some advantages too, in that you're not like burning yourself out playing huge long sets over and over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. As far as the schedule looks, this Saturday is when all this kicks off. Starting at 9:30 a.m. Central, 7:30 a.m. Pacific time, Gen G will be facing Team Dignitas in the upper bracket, and then Tempest will be playing Tempo Storm. So every single one of these games is going to be incredible. All these games are going to be good. So try and watch them all when you can. On the lower bracket side of things, Ballistics will be playing Heroes Hearth Esports, and Method will be playing Fnatic on Saturday. And then there will be 4 games on Sunday, and then the lower finals and then the grand finals will be on Monday. So mark those on your calendar. The Heroes Esports site has the full schedule and will translate it to your time. Remember, except for the finals, all these are best of 5s. So these should get some very good sets out of this. And then the finals will be best of 7, with, I believe, the top bracket team getting a 1-game lead.
Correct.
Because of the double elimination deal?
Yes.
Yeah. Which is something I now kind of agree with. I've been shown reason.
This bracket is a little interesting, just because it for the upper bracket, it has potential. Winning team could only have to play 3 different games. So, but it's cool. I
Yeah.
can dig it.
Yeah. So kind of to add on to this a little bit, there was a really, really good article written in the Esports Observer by Trent Esports, actually. And he got hired over there a few months back. And he wrote a very thought-provoking article called State of HGC. And we'll have this article in our show notes, but it talks about a lot of kind of where HGC is now, some of the issues it's gone through, especially we've talked about this before with some sponsors leaving the scene and revenue and stuff being kind of an issue for those team owners. And so one of the things I wanted to kind of bring up, and I'll let you guys bring up any interesting issues that you read from this. But I wanted to read first something he talked to Milkfat, who's the head of the HGC Heroes Esports right now, about the 2019 season. And Sam said, full sponsorship of all teams continues to be the goal for HGC. While we've seen the departures of some sponsors for various reasons, we've also seen several new organizations and sponsors coming to HGC, excited to support Heroes of the Storm Esports. We have an open dialogue with both established and potential sponsors and are exploring changes for 2019 that incorporates their feedback in order to build stronger partnerships and enhance the benefits of owning or sponsoring a team in HGC. Of course, the league is not ready to support an Overwatch League style franchise. It's just not the size wise. We don't compare to Overwatch. That's just facts are facts. And Blizzard has a lot more money pouring in to Overwatch, and they can afford to do these crazy things right out of the gate, whereas Heroes is more a slow churn, a slow build and whatnot. And we've seen it kind of get better from year to year. But one thing that Trent does mention that I wanted to talk a little bit about for Heroes is he talks about Ubisoft unveiling a revenue sharing program for the Rainbow Six Pro League. And the Rainbow Six pilot program provides teams with a share of revenue from sales of certain in-game items and also funds prize pool of the largest tournament of the year. If this model were replicated in HGC, it could significantly improve the return on investment for teams at the bottom of the league while incentivizing and rewarding teams at the top. And he talks a little bit about how Rainbow Six was actually a very, very slow to launch esports thing, that as Ubisoft implemented a lot of these changes, it grew and became quite a fairly large-sized esport, especially for the prizing pool. And Blizzard does have big prizing pools, but it does strike me as odd, and it seems like a win-win for Blizzard and orgs to do not only this HGC cheer stuff, but to do direct in-game item buys with gems of team banners, team mounts, team portraits, sprays, hero color skins, whatever. There's so much potential for like in-game stuff to support individual teams that Blizzard then wouldn't have to give a cut to Twitch and could then give directly to these orgs. And then
or
stuff
the prize
like
pool.
Yeah, or the prize pool. And that's just another point, right? Is stuff like Dota 2 has these compendiums that they do. StarCraft 2 did war chests. Like, that just seems like a no-brainer for Heroes, where you offer, like, for each phase or for each big event, these big bundles of cool stuff. And every person that buys them, a portion of that money goes to the prize pool itself. And potentially widening that prize pool, not only to give more money on the upper half, but potentially to give more padding to the lower prizes of the teams that still get to the event, even if they don't win.
Yeah.
Well, what do you guys think?
I have been wanting this since the esports was announced.
I feel like we've been talking about it for years.
We have. since Heroes Esports started, that we need ways to support the teams directly that we enjoy, and also stuff like the prize pool, like have certain time of the year. If you buy loot crates, a portion of that goes towards the BlizzCon prize pool or mid-season brawl prize pool, which in turn, again, not just paying the upper teams, but being able to have prize money for all the teams that make it there, to make this league less top heavy. Because the biggest thing that surprised me about this article, and we've known about the organizations and stuff leaving, and I think this system is a huge part of that. We get a look kind of behind the scenes of why these organizations are leaving, and that's because it is top heavy. The return of investment for organizations is very risky to get into it unless you are one of the upper echelon teams right now. And they interview Morten Jensen and stuff that was on Tricked Esports, and they just pulled out and kind of the reasons behind why they left. And so there's a lot of things that I think probably need to change to attract more organizations, because Milkfat says there's more organizations potentially coming in now, but we can't just get them in here. We have to keep them in here. We really need to do that, and I think this system is a huge way to do that, to be able to have fans support their teams directly instead of them just performing well.
And then the fans get in-game content from this kind of thing too. So I mean, fans win, teams win, Blizzard wins. They can take a cut from those kinds of purchases. I just don't see how anyone loses in this.
Yeah, and it's Heroes, and that's something people need to understand too, is Heroes probably shouldn't look at Overwatch League. They shouldn't look at these other massive esports, because that's not the sizing. And I think that's why it was such a great comparison to bring up Rainbow Six and not Dota and not League and not Overwatch League necessarily, is because we're not there yet. So let's look for successful models that are around the same sizing we are, and then say, okay, that is about our game size, that is about our viewership, or that is slightly higher than our viewership, or whatever. What are they doing right? And what is their growth trend over the few years, and what caused that growth? And then let's steal those ideas and do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and again, it's Heroes is a young esport. It's not Blizzard's first rodeo, but it is their first step into the MOBA scene. Every esport's going to be different on how you can handle this type of stuff. So,
and I mean, they're still doing so many things right, and there's still been so many improvements lately. I'll quote so IGN actually did. I don't know if you guys saw another actually glowing video just talking about the state of Heroes of the Storm this past week. And in it, they say that Heroes Esports has gone from strength to strength. And I mean, I agree with that. It's a smaller player pool, somewhat smaller prize pool, although sizable for the game itself. And yet it's going strong. I mean, this midseason brawl has been the most fun tournament to watch in quite some time. And if they just keep this ball rolling and maybe implement stuff like that, I think we're getting somewhere. Just in that slow burn you were talking about.
Yeah.
And that's cool.
I'm really interested to see what the numbers are going to be like, the viewing numbers for the tournament this weekend. Because it was a little on the lower side for these other games. I think part of that is, North America is a big market, super early in the morning. It's throughout the week. There's work. E3
it
was
is
going
early
on.
In the morning. Yeah. I can't watch it live.
Yeah. So there was a lot of stuff happening, but it was, still at or even above at some points kind of what the average viewership for the HGC has been throughout the phases. So I think this weekend is going to be a big testament to kind of progress it's made. It's the most exciting it's been to watch to date. And
E3 won't be going on during HGC.
Correct.
That's another big one.
That definitely they'll hurt your numbers a little bit.
Yeah. So we shall see.
I'm looking forward to seeing. I really hope, like he said, they're taking a lot of this feedback into consideration, and we'll see some big overhauls and some new systems for the 2019 season.
Yep. And we'll see if they've taken some of that feedback, and hopefully we'll see some more organizations in for next season. Real quick, kind of going along with community content this week and the HGC, the Midseason Brawl. I do want to give a shout out here to Chillrog. We've talked about him several times on this show. He is in New York and has been organizing a watch party for the Midseason Brawl this weekend. So if you are in the area, that is going to be at Waypoint Cafe starting at Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern. And I know we have some listeners out there because we can see. We're always watching.
That's right.
So if you're looking for a group to watch this with, and maybe you haven't been, kind of introduce yourself to an esports cafe around the area, definitely go and check that out. Sounds like it should be a pretty good time.
Thorn
That'd
and
be
Fist
so-
from Lagging Balls. You got to
Yes.
be there. You're our eyes. You
Yep.
are our eyes.
Yes.
Yep. Man, that would be so fun to go to New York and not see anything else, but just go to a gaming cafe and watch Heroes with a bunch of other Heroes people. Man, if I had money and time, I would totally do that.
And a plane.
If you hadn't done Heroes of the Dorm, TBK.
I know, right?
Yeah.
No, I had to do Heroes of the Dorm.
All right, TBK, what do you have for community content this week?
Just one, and kind of in keeping with our wonderful patron hero skin concept that we made. This is another skin concept as well, and this is a Valkyrie Ariel. And this gives me so much Wrath of the Lich King nostalgia.
Valkyr, not Valkyrie. I mean, it's the same thing.
Valkyr. That yeah,
But
it's the knockoff, whatever Greek mythology.
Norse, but yeah, it's
Whatever,
It's
Norse.
all Norse knockoff. Like when you think of
No,
like
that's true.
Thorim
No,
and
the
Loken
Valkyrie and yeah.
Odin. They didn't even change that name, just the
nope.
spelling.
ODYN. Yep.
I will say
It looks amazing though. I would buy it.
they do.
Yeah.
I love the kind of rainbow, transparent wing version one is dope.
The bottom right one.
Yeah, and these ones are a little more conservative than the World of Warcraft models. If you all remember that quest line in, I think it's Hillsbrad Foothills, where they fly you around, they're not very conservative or dressed conservatively there. So you don't have.
This
to
is
worry
like
about that here.
full battle armor.
Yeah, they're ready to go.
Valkyrie.
They got.
Valkyr.
What's that Disney
Yes.
movie with the hair, the long hair?
Tangled.
Tangled.
Rapunzel?
This is like tangled, like Rapunzel hair is whips. Watch out for it.
Oh, that's true. Those are the whips.
Yeah,
I just connected
cool.
that.
with sweet
That is really
metal
cool.
things on the end. How cool would that be to have long enough hair that you could turn it into a weapon? Just tie like a big metal ball on the end of it.
I think you should do that with your beard. And haven't you had hair that long before?
Not that long. Close.
I think
That's
you need to get back
pretty
on.
long.
Yeah, it's cool skin though.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. We'll have a link to it in the show notes, so go check it out. It's
Yeah.
really cool.
That is gonna do it about for this week. We'll have a lot to talk about next week with the map being introduced. See if there's any changes to that since the PTR, as well as keeping our eye on Urel, and of course the mid-season brawl happening. But before we get out of here, Multi, why don't you let people know where we can be reached?
Oh, you can find us several ways. We're on Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, and Patreon at Lords of the Storm. And again, especially the patrons, thank you guys. I mean, you're what made the Mecha. I'm tongue-tied.
Ragnaros.
Mecha Forge
Mecha Forge.
Ragnaros happen, as well as just keeping the lights on over here. So we appreciate y'all. And let's see here. There's other methods, of course. You can find us in-game by typing /join space LOTS. Even more important now with that 50% EXP going on, obviously. We've got Discord, bit.ly/lots Discord. And we're also on email at lordsofthestorm@outlook.com. And if you can take the time to leave us a review, thank you for those. Any of those help out quite a bit. I'm pulling up iTunes now to see if we've got any new ones. But in the meantime, where can we find you guys?
You can find me on Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, all those things at Gizmozord, as well as Convert to Raid presents the BattleNet News Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. Central with Pat Crane and crew. No show this week. Pat's sick. Poor Pat. A lot of people are getting sick. I'm getting sick. Multi's getting sick.
I'm sick. Yep.
So it's been rough. But Just I have again been streaming a lot and doing some cool stuff in Hero League. So if you're looking for some new streams, check out. I'd appreciate you stopping by. Shameless plug. Multi, where can you be found?
That was pretty shameless. Multizord on Twitter for sure, and then shameless plug for my other podcast called Hearth Casual with Ro from Rail Maintenance, if you guys know him. And so this is another week where it's a full episode. So we've got a lot to talk about with the Taverns of Time event going on now. I don't know. By the way, anyone within the sound of my voice, at least today on Wednesday, sign on at least once to get your golden pack. Like you too.
I already did it. I got.
Did you get anything
crap.
cool?
I got 4 commons and a rare.
Rare. Sounds like me. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Good. So TBK, you gotta do that. Just in case. What if you get a legendary?
I actually had to reinstall the game just to do that.
And are you now going to uninstall?
I don't know. We'll see.
It's like install it. Oh, that's a cool pack. I'm done.
Worth it.
TBK,
also known as worth it.
Where can you be found?
You can find me on Twitter at TBKZord and on Heroes Hearth as well, where, as I alluded to, I write concepts, do interviews and such for the site. And it's a great site. It's got that's where I go for my builds and guides now, as a lot of pro players have been jumping on there and getting builds and guides up. So definitely go check that out too.
Yeah, the builds are fantastic because you can sort by hero, by most recent, and of course the best by patch. You get the most recent patch ones there to stay up, and a lot of the pro players actually kind of go through. They don't just pick the talents. Sometimes they'll explain, why, or alternate during certain situations. So it's cool. Any reviews there, Multi?
Nope. Which is all the more incentive for people to leave them.
Shame on all of you listeners. Gosh, we're gonna get out of here because I can't even stand to be here anymore. Ugh. I want to give a special thanks to our patron producer Ouroboros Zord for helping support the show, as well as Wicked Kitten, our mod in chat, keeping things clean. Squeaky clean. We'll see you all next week. Same time, same place. Wednesday, 9 p.m. Central, twitch.tv/Lords of the Storm. Have a good one.
Enough. I shall do no more.
No more.